Man United land Premier League points deduction boost over Spurs and Aston Villa as table reshuffles. As Rashford disaster move backfires completely, Manchester United are locked in a three-way battle for Champions League football this season, with March likely to be a crucial month in determining who will secure their place in UEFA's top-tier club competition. The pressure is on Erik ten Hag and his players. The United boss has already had to deal with discussion about his future this week. The Manchester Evening News reported how new co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has yet to be convinced that the Dutchman is the man to take the team forward. A strong finish to the season is desperately needed for ten Hag. Finishing outside the top 5 may not be enough to keep him in a job, with INEOS assessing other managerial options. However, ten Hag could receive a huge boost in his bid for Champions League qualification from an unlikely source. The two sides challenging United for a spot in the competition next season are Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. Unai Emery's Villa side currently have an 8-point cushion on United inside the top 5, and a 5th-place finish is likely to be enough to qualify for the Champions League this term. Spurs are 3 points ahead of United and have played a game fewer. With Spurs heading to Villa Park on Sunday, March 10th, the race is hotting up. But there's more. The recent decision by the Premier League to change points deductions could also affect things. Last year, Everton lost 10 points for breaking profitability and sustainability rules. The club wasn't happy, so they tried to get the decision changed, and everyone was waiting to see what would happen. On Monday, an independent appeal board said that Everton wouldn't lose as many points after all. Instead of 10, it will be 6. The Premier League said Everton FC appealed the sanction imposed against it on 9 grounds, each of which related to the sanction rather than the fact of the breach, which the club admitted. 2 of those 9 grounds were upheld by the appeal board, which has substituted the original points deduction of 10 for 6. This revised sanction has immediate effect, and the Premier League table will be updated today to reflect this. So how does that affect the Champions League places? Well, Nottingham Forest are now in 17th place after the latest games. Everton have moved up over them and Brentford to 15th place. Previously, Luton were only 1 point behind Everton in the table. But now, with Sean Dyche's team pulling away by 5 points, Luton will be even more determined to secure every point they can. Luton host Villa this weekend with a sad tea-time kick-off slot. United managed to win at Kenilworth Road earlier this month despite an unconvincing performance against Rob Edwards' side, who have also given Arsenal and Manchester City tough tests at home this term. Despite only picking up 11 points in front of their own fans, winning 3, drawing 2, and losing 8 times. However, now that the Hatters have an ever greater incentive to win points after Everton climbed the table, this could come as a boost for United, who are waiting for Villa to drop points. In other news, Rashford PR backfires as Manchester United forward launches attack on the wrong people. Marcus Rashford wants people to understand his situation and how he feels his Manchester United commitment cannot be doubted. The media saw an attack. Rash decision. Marcus Rashford would be the first to say he has not been his usual self this season, either on or off the pitch. He skirted around it without ever making that specific admission in his column for the Players' Tribune, referring to mistakes, doubters, and more broadly of how the world has not seen the best of this United squad and these players. He also dedicated a couple of paragraphs in a wide-reaching piece of more than 2,000 words to offering his thoughts on the media coverage he receives, suggesting there's a tone to it that you don't get with all footballers. He went into more depth in a sit-down interview with the same outlet, saying among many things that stuff that gets written about me, like 90% of it is false. And that was the gravest of all his errors, attracting the attention of some writers with whom the crux of his issue does not lie. The point Rashford was making, prefaced with him saying, "I'm not trying to have a go at the media," was. His entirely understandable and justified problem is with what one might call male online syndrome, the dog whistle journalism nonsense, which focuses on the money he spends and how and where he spends it. It's something he's spoken about before, and it's a category certain journalists just do not fall into, such as Oliver Brown of the Daily Telegraph. The subheadline to his article is a fine place to start, saying as it does that the Manchester United forward has been given a platform to mount an attack on the media, but his form and conduct do warrant proper scrutiny. Give Media Watch a second to get over the idea that actual Marcus Rashford, actual Manchester United actual footballer, needs a specific platform to do much of anything. The bloke can log on to social media anytime and send a message out to millions of people whenever he likes. The Players' Tribune is not a platform he needs. And good lord, if any of what Rashford has either said or written was an attack on the media, then there are some awfully thin-skinned people working in such an industry. Apropos of nothing, Brown jumps into Rashford's attempt to escape legitimate scrutiny by portraying any criticism as a cynical attempt to knock him off the pedestal he assumed during the pandemic. At which point Brown has already made as many references to the pandemic and Rashford's work during it as Rashford himself, almost as if the England international does not consider himself to be on a pedestal beyond censure. No possible sane read of Rashford's article or interpretation of his spoken words can suggest that he feels any criticism as a cynical attempt to undermine him. But Brown continues raging against Rashford's self-justifying screed in which he paints himself as essentially beyond reproach. Was that the bit where he says, "I'm a human being. I've made mistakes that a lot of lads in their 20 seconds make, and I've tried to learn from them." If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe to Man United Hub to get all the latest updates.